Hey guys, welcome to the Top Percentile. My name is Anay Dave. I scored a 99.99 percentile in CET 2020. There's approximately 15 days to go for this year's MBA CET. And to be honest, we were just discussing about what videos we should be making, how we should go about it, and how to best guide you. We've had 3 years of guiding students crack CET year on year. We've had around 40 students get in the last 3 years. And I was trying to understand what we've done over time. And that's when I realized that maybe one of the things I can do is go through our old videos, go through what we actually taught at that point, which I think was really useful to students. And what I think कि उनको काफी ज्यादा मदद हुई and वहां से उनको maybe थोड़े insights मिले जो उन्होंने फिर exams में use करके JBIMS achieve किया है. So that was kind of the motivation behind finding out and watching old videos. And that's when I found out this video I'd made. I think this is sometime in 2021. So it's a very long time ago. The first attempt that people are taking, that our students were taking rather, was the first year of the top percentile. And this is a very, like at this point of time, I had just taken CET. So I was very fresh with the concepts, with the ideas, shortcuts, etc. So in this video, over the next 30 minutes, you are going to get a full masterclass on everything that you need to learn in CET, all the shortcuts, all the tricks that you need, and it'll give you the best base to actually crack CET and to do things faster. Now, this video is not a video I want you to watch in isolation. There are 2-3 more videos that I'll be putting up. I'll find old videos like this if it's useful to you. So please drop a comment if it actually helps you out. I really want to know if these old videos help, because instead of you searching for them, we can actually repost it and be easier for you to find it as well. So if it actually does help, please let me know. But in this video, like I'd made this video with 7 days for CET in mind. Like it was 1 week before CET. Right now, there are 15 days left. In 15 days, if you're able to understand exactly what I said in the 7-day to CET video, I think your preparation will be a lot better than what it was at that point of time for a 7-day video. So 100% recommend you to watch this. In fact, if you see my face in the video after you see this, you see how many years it's been, how I've aged over time, etc. But yeah, I think it's going to be a super useful video. This video is as I said, there are 2 more videos that are a part of it. There is one on passive mocks and there is one on mock analysis, and a third actually on how to mark flukes. We'll be making these videos again in this year as well. Either they'll be posted as, again, a video like this where I introduce myself from 2 years ago and then record the video, or it'll be something else. So it is what it is. But I think this video is super useful, and I had a smile on my face when I watched it, because I was like, wow, this guy knows what he's talking about. I don't know about this guy right now, but that guy knows what he's talking about. So I'll let Anay from 2021 take over now. And yeah, all our links for YouTube, Instagram, Telegram, etc. are in the description. We also have a sale going on, so in case you're interested in any of our courses, please feel free to head to our head to our website, and everything will be available over there. So yeah, on to you, 2021, Anay. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
These are basically the main topics that are there in your CET. In logical reasoning, you have puzzles, traditional and critical reasoning. I have put input-output into puzzles. I have tried to just keep it as simple as possible, because after a point it becomes very complicated. In abstract reasoning or visual, you have series and analogy. You get a lot more types, but those types they have not come in CET so far. At least in the last 2 years that we've seen the papers, they have not come. So that's why I'm focusing on series and analogy. When it comes to VARC, these are the main types. I'm sure I missed a couple of them because VARC has a lot of types. These are the ones I want to focus on, at least discuss on how to reduce your options here or how to make guesses here. And in QADI, you have arithmetic and DI. In arithmetic, you have a lot of things. You also have number system. Like if I have to go on with the list, you have number system, you have modern math, you have a lot more things. In fact, I can add modern math if you want, but modern math is something that people usually don't study. So I don't want to add that here. So we'll take one thing at a time, and I'll tell you how to go about it, how to at least reduce a couple of options. I'm saying that you cannot always reduce options, but you can reduce a couple of options that are there. So when you come to logical reasoning, we are looking at puzzles first. Puzzles are quite difficult to make random guesses in. You cannot just make guesses. But if you have put in some data, look, when is the time when you're going to make guesses in puzzles? You'll make educated guesses in puzzles when you spend 3 minutes on it. Remember the 3-minute rule, guys. 3 minutes on one set of puzzle. If you're not able to solve it, go ahead. If you think you'll be able to solve it in the next couple of minutes, solve it and go ahead. Solve it and then go ahead, right? So 3-minute rule is just that. But when will you mark guesses? You'll mark guesses at the end of the paper when you do not have any more time to give to the puzzle, correct? When you know that even if you spend 10 minutes on it, nothing is going to happen. Even if you spend, firstly, do not spend 10 minutes on a puzzle. That is just an example. But even if you spend a couple more minutes on it, you're not going to get it. And it makes more sense to use this time somewhere else and on some other questions, right? So when you're looking at puzzles, essentially you're looking at a set of statements that are there, and the statements will have options that should eliminate each other. Just keep this in mind. Now, when you are making a puzzle, try making the initial outline of it. Even if you have a couple of minutes left and you know that this is not going to happen, let's say you have 5 minutes left and one puzzle is all that is left, but you know you can't solve it. You've attempted everything else in the paper. It's just the puzzle that is left and you have 5 minutes left. So you make the basic outline of it. You write down all the rules that are there. Write down, when I say write down, I mean draw the rules, draw it into the form. If it's a linear, if you're leaving a puzzle, it'll be something a miscellaneous type with family relation, blood relation, something like that. So in that, you'll make the family tree at least. You'll try using the tricks that we've told you on how to solve family tree faster. This is available in our course. And I think the main thing that you're doing is gender. So just try using that to solve it faster. But essentially, you're making the outline. Based on the outline, look at the 5 questions that they've asked you, whether there was 5 questions, 4 questions, 6 questions, whatever is there. Look at the number of questions that they've asked and see whether based on the outline given and based on the facts that you've read, otherwise, are you able to eliminate options or not? And if you are able to eliminate options, write across. If it's a 110th question, write 110th, cancel B, cancel C, whatever it is. Just because it's a puzzle, I'm telling you to do this because you're attempting 5 questions at once and you're trying to guess you're trying to make educated guesses everywhere. So once you're done with that, what happens is many times there will be 1 question or 2 questions where there'll be only 2 or 3 options left. Now, when one question has 2 options and another question has 2 options left, try combining the data in the 2 options. Try making cases within the two puzzles, 2 options, 2 questions that are there, and see whether you can find one case that builds the entire thing out. Now, I am only suggesting this if you have nothing else to do, and just remember that there is nothing else to do. That is a puzzle. Firstly, puzzle is not a make or break section as shown by Aditya in all the videos that he's been in. He has scored rank 5 and he has attempted 1 puzzle in the exam. So do not think that puzzle is the make or break thing. It is the final score. If you get a final score, you make it. If you don't, you break it. That's it. It's a final score, not puzzles. But if you're able to eliminate options using this, I think then you are able to get you'll at least increase the probability of getting it right. Even if you're able to break it down to 2 cases or 3 cases that are there, I'm not saying draw the entire case, but at least in your head, keep what is possible, what is not possible, where what is going, at least with a small outline, you should be able to make sure that things are going right. So that's what I have to say on puzzles. Now, coming to traditional logic, I think traditional logic is something where accuracy should be higher. You should be getting these answers. You should be getting all the answers here. This is your blood relation. This is your number. This is your series. This is your direction sense. This is your anything that you can think of, whatever is out of the book, the queuing thing that is there, any normal chapter that is there. I think the sequence, and you have to find out how many times a number is before a letter, etc., etc. Everything that is there. These require presence of mind. You just have to sit there, read the question, and solve it. If a new set comes, if a new type of question comes, sit there, read the question, read it nicely, solve it. Most of the times you will not require needing guesses or educated guesses here because that is not the type of questions that they ask. These are usually much easier. It is something that if you've practiced, you will be able to solve on the last day. Traditional logic does not require educated guesses. You should be able to solve all of it 100% properly. In case you're not able to, again, eliminate options. If in blood relation, if you do it, look at gender, look at the generations, solve it, go ahead. Just keep all that in mind. These are just a few pointers that I'm giving. Because 7 days are left, I'm just trying to help you guys as much as I can with all the information there. But the main idea over here is just solve it. You'll be able to think through it and solve it. Logical reasoning does not require any more than just thinking with your presence of mind at that point. Just remember that. When it comes to critical reasoning, on the other hand, this is more like this is gambling. This is basically gambling. I'll just write critical here. Sorry. So you know that just to explain it better. But when it comes to critical reasoning, this is somewhere where your accuracy is going to be lower. And even if you spend 2 minutes on it, you are not going to get it right. You're probably going to increase your accuracy from a 60% to a 70% by spending 4 minutes on it. But does that make sense? No, it doesn't. So keep the time to a short constraint, but eliminate options. So one thing that I suggest when you look at these questions and what I've heard from mentors and everyone, lots of teachers also suggest this, It is to think like a question setter. When I'm making a critical reasoning, if I had to make a critical reasoning set myself, and my question stated, find the assumption. Two of the options would be inferences. One option would be a conclusion. One option would be the assumption, and something else would be, just a strong and weak argument that just goes along with the statement, a forward statement of the statement above. So when I'm doing this, what they're trying to see and what they're trying to trick you into is forgetting what the question has. Many times people believe a conclusion is the assumption. They're confused with what they are solving, and that's what the question setter is trying to do. That's why they give you questions like that. Because how else can you make a statement? When you're thinking of making a question, you will make other 4 statements that are like the first statement, but not like that, right? So it will be the same topic, but different. So the way they do it is by putting inferences, conclusions, and other things that will not be an assumption in case it's an assumption, correct? So what you need to do is start labeling options. If you see something and you know that it's not related to it, it's a forward statement, it's a conclusion, it is something else that is there. Just label that and go ahead and, label that and go to the next option that is there and try that out. Try figuring out what that is. Is that an inference? Is that an assumption? Is it a deduction? What is it? Go ahead and keep trying to eliminate this and try eliminating options going ahead. And that is what you have to do. But again, keep in mind, critical reasoning is a time sucker. It is going to take your time on the final day. You have to take care that your time is kept properly. You have to make sure that you maintain your time and the speed that you have decided. I'll be sharing a photo of a letter that I've written to myself on the final day of the exam. So that'll be there on a Telegram group and on our Instagram. So please follow us. Our Instagram is _top_percentile, and our Telegram group will be in the description below. In fact, Instagram will also be there. So just reach out to us. You'll find it. Critical reasoning, that's about all I have to say. Remember that your accuracy is going to be low. I will always keep saying that your accuracy is going to be low. Marks per minute concept tells you give it less time, right? When it comes to visual reasoning or abstract reasoning, you are looking at 2 main types: series and analogy. Again, here it is very easy to eliminate options. You have to eliminate options, and all you have to do is look at which option does not follow. When it comes in series, there'll be a dot that is rotating 90 degrees or 270 degrees, 180 degrees. If you've solved even 5 questions of AR, you know what the type of questions are coming. That is how the questions are going to be in the CET paper. You will be in a lot more pressure. So remember that when you are eliminating options, keep in mind which options you've eliminated. Do not go wrong in that. Like, you've eliminated 3, 4, and 1, but then you end up marking 3 because you thought you've marked those as the right answers instead of the eliminated options, something like that. I'm just giving an example. But the point is, try keeping a track of what you're doing, because if you're reducing your accuracy after eliminating options, it's because you made a silly mistake. And that silly mistake should not cost you a seat in JB. Coming to the next part, analogy. Analogy, I don't have much else to add apart from what I've already added earlier. Eliminate options, keep track of what you're eliminating, find out parts that are moving. For anything in AR, sorry, I said artificial reasoning for some reason, but for any abstract reasoning concept or any question that comes, find parts that are moving, find parts that are common. Just that. There are a number of lines, number of circles, number of stars, number of squares, a pattern that is being followed. Just keep following that pattern, see whether it follows, and just see how it goes to the end, right? That's all I have to say. But make sure that this is done fast. I again said artificial. I've been saying AI and all of this pretty often recently. So, but your abstract, everything that you do, keep it fast. This is a time saver. It's a score maximizer. Just make sure you do it fast. Coming to a section that everyone reads, rather 2 sections that everyone reads: your VARC, your verbal, and your quant. So I think in verbal and abstract, you do not have too many questions that you have too many educated guesses. You have to, either eliminate options or just take a fluke. And I mean fluke as a random option without any logic. But in QA and LR, there's a lot of scope for actually thinking and using logic. When it comes to vocab, I think what you need to do, if you know the words that are there in the options, if you know some words, eliminate those, whether you know they're right or not. If it in the form of a statement, if it's vocab in an RC, then you need to fit it in the statement, right? Like if the word is pointers, or practice, let's take practice, and fit in the synonyms that are there or what you think it means into the statement, into the context of it, and try understanding what they're trying to say. That's all I can say for vocab. If you haven't learned vocab, that's all you can do. When it comes to RCs in CET, people do not spend too long on it. It is something that you finish within 10 to 12 minutes, and people finish it in 2 to 3 minutes as well. I've seen people who do that, and they also make it to JB. So there's nothing like that, because everything else is stronger. Remember, if you're leaving RCs, you're leaving puzzles, you're leaving, let's say, critical reasoning, you're leaving quant, then there's no chance to get into JB. But if you're leaving only RCs, you're leaving only some parts of things, then there is a chance. When it comes to RCs, the main idea is to do it fast. Look at the context. What is the author trying to say? And try fitting in using your logic. क्या हो सकता है? Just थोड़ा पढ़ के देख लो क्या हो सकता है, क्या नहीं हो सकता है. वो logic तो आ ही जाएगा उससे. उसमें logic नहीं चाहिए. CAT की this is not like CAT. CAT requires you to think about what the author is saying in depth, what they mean. In CET, that's not the case. They are looking at abstract concepts in general from like a bird's eye view. So you start with the bird's eye view and answer the questions that are there. Coming to fill in the blanks, I think fill in the blanks, reading the sentence again and again with the filled in blank, knowing the grammar rules, that helps a lot. Again, eliminating options. Fill in the blanks, there are those questions where they give you A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then they'll give options like there are 3 sentences. Then they'll have something like D, A, B, B, D, C, and there'll be 7 or 4 options like this. And the D will fit into the first sentence, A will fit in the second sentence, B will fit into the third. Likewise, in the second option, B fits in the first, D second, C third. Like that, what you need to do in such cases is just figure out any one of them. Just figure out any one of them. Other options get eliminated. Then figure out the other statements. You just get your answer. You don't need to solve the entire fill in the blank. Just eliminate options, see what is common, eliminate the other options, solve that much. You are done. You don't need to solve everything that is there. Close test, since this is around 5 questions that come in a paragraph, you need to read it again and again. Grammar rules help a lot here. Eliminating options over here will be based on grammar rules. That's all I can say. Parajumbles, what you need to do in this case is you need to first understand, sorry, just give me a second. You need to understand how you need to, make decisions. Just give me a second. I'll just align everything so it's visible. Yeah. So in parajumbles, you need to understand how sentences are connected. When you make a paragraph, or when I am speaking right now, I am speaking in paragraphs, right? So when I speak in a paragraph, my earlier sentence links to the next one. The ideas that I build on link to the previous sentence. Previous sentence, that means there's something earlier. I am using context. I'm using contextual cues. I'm using other words. These are identifiers that are present in sentences which tell you that they are linking something else. If supposing, for example, I have something that says, he likes to read, and there has to be something that explains who he is, right? So there'll be another statement that says, Anay Dave is XYZ, he likes to read. So obviously that is the order that you're going to follow. And this is a very simple example that I'm giving. No one will go wrong in this sentence. No one will say he likes to read, Anay Dave is XYZ. But the idea is that you'll find a lot of these links, and you only need to look at that link to understand where the sentence is. But I did not have extremely high accuracy in this, but these are the tricks that I was using to eliminate options, because in parajumbles, the options help a lot. If you get the type where the parajumble is a full set, where one parajumble is 5, there are 5 questions on it, you have to write down the series that you think it's got, that you think is possible, and then see whether the options are getting eliminated or not. Likewise, what you can do is, since the main thing in a parajumble is a sentence starter, there'll be one question which says, which of the following is the first sentence of the paragraph when it's properly placed. In that case, you just have to look at the 5 options that they've given, and if there are 6, 7 statements, you'll be able to eliminate options and try to use something from there. That's how you have to kind of focus on. But the main thing is finding the first sentence, then going ahead with linked sentences. That's the best way to do it, and eliminate options in the one where they give you the 5. They give you 5 options of series like A, B, C, D, A, B, C, E, A, B. Just 5 options. There, it becomes much easier to eliminate options, because you know that, okay, I think D starts the sentence. So every option that does not have D as the first one is out. When it comes to sentence error, I think what you can do is, since it's in parts, you know whether this part is right, this part is right, this part is right. You know whether 3 parts are right, 2 parts are not. It's one of the 2 parts. You kind of realize where the sentence error is. Like many times in subject-verb agreement grammar rules, it is either the subject or the verb that is going wrong. So you kind of know that these 2 are the only places where it can be wrong. So there you will already reduce to a 50% probability of getting it right or wrong. But if you've reached a point where you know what subject-verb agreement is, I suggest solve it. But that's my trick on this. Like, that's what I can suggest for sentence error. Just keep at it. If there are things that are missed out so far, if there are topics that you want some guidance on, please leave a comment about it. I don't remember the exact topics too much in depth when it comes to VARC and in depth of all these things. Is not solved paper in depth, but if there's anything, please leave it in the comment. I'll gladly answer it. Now, coming to the section that everyone has been waiting for, because actually, I don't know, engineers will be waiting for verbal, everyone else is waiting for quant. So coming to the section that all non-engineers are waiting for, quants. When it comes to quants, you need to remember that there are 50 questions. Out of these 50 questions, 25 you should be able to attempt, because these require easy math. And if it requires easy math and not much thinking, you should be able to solve it. That is where your accuracy comes into play, which is this photo, that this entire thing that I've said over here. Your accuracy needs to be high because you want to get these things right. You want to make sure that the easy questions are not going wrong, at least that much that is it, right? So when it comes to arithmetic, you're looking at profit and loss. You're looking at anything that you see, time, speed, distance, any type of thing that just requires math and basic formula. That's arithmetic. When it comes to DI, you're looking at the data interpretation sets that are there. I'll come to that later. But when it comes to arithmetic, how do you eliminate options? I think here there is most scope for eliminating options because of numbers being divisible and divisibility rules that you need to know. For example, if I say that a car has traveled, let's say 300 meters in 45 seconds, how much will it travel in 11 seconds? Now I know that I'm using unitary method in this. I'm not even going to try to solve it. But I know that I'm trying to find out, let's say I've not even read the question, I've just read the second part. How much will it travel in 11 seconds? If it's going to travel in 11 seconds, assuming no decimals, in speed in decimals, but assuming no decimals, I know that my answer, how much will it travel, will be a multiple of time into speed. And my time is going to be 11 seconds. So my answer is going to be a multiple of 11. If I just go through the options and eliminate all options that are not divisible by 11, I should have lesser answers ready. Now, once I've done that, and if there are 3 options still remaining or 4 options still remaining, I'll look at the other factors that are there. If there is a factor of 7 that I can find, or there's a factor of 9 in the 45 that is there. So the 9 and the 45 will be divided because I'm doing 11 into something divided by 45. So that 9 will not work, but the 300 or whatever number I mentioned earlier, I don't remember what I mentioned, that number will definitely play into factors on the top. So if you're able to get numerator factors that are there, you will be able to solve, at least eliminate options and get that fast. So what I'm suggesting over here is basically divisibility test to eliminate options. Second thing that I suggest over here is using options to solve questions. And this is something that is extremely beautiful, especially in arithmetic sets that are there. You look at the options, you put in values that give you those options, you should get the right answer because there'll be only one option that fits your entire question correctly. For example, if they give you a question about, again, time, speed, distance, about what speed would it need to travel at to complete X distance or whatever, there are lots of questions like this. Just read the options first. Read the options first and try to put the options in the data that you have. Reverse engineer the answer and you'll get it very fast. This is one of the best tricks that I had that I used to use in the final exam. This is what helped me get marks in a shorter amount of time because this is what I used to do. Just use options to solve the answer. And if that is not happening, eliminate options to get to what the answer is. So for arithmetic, that is what I have to suggest. One thing that I'm not added here is modern math. So I'll just explain that. Modern math is your PNCs, permutation combinations, your probability that is there, all of that. This is usually tougher. This is usually a little more complicated. So that's why I've not added that as a separate point. But when it comes to modern math, most of you, from what I know and what the questions are being asked, most of you are going to leave this as a genuine fluke. Genuine fluke, because you are going to mark it randomly and you won't think about it. But again, at the same time, I think if you can try to eliminate options using what I mentioned earlier, divisibility test, or at least some logic that you've used in probability, you might be able to solve it in a shorter amount of time, or at least eliminate a couple of options because that is your aim. Your aim is to reach an answer or probably reach an answer, but not 20% probability. Do not go ahead marking B everyone blindly. Try to do this. You will increase your marks by a lot. I'll come back to that point. But coming to DI, which is the last point that I have to talk about here. DI comes in various types. There are many DI sets that require a lot more thinking than the others, but most of the times you will require something which has ratios. You will require something that has addition, subtraction. But ratios are the most common. There'll be growth numbers that are needed to find ratio of year 10 upon year 1 or year 10 upon year 9 or blue upon green, something or the other. There'll always be ratios. So the first thing you have to do is try to reduce your numbers to ratios that become easy to calculate. If you've got something like 24,000 and 36,000, reduce it to a 2:3. Try finding out all the numbers in the 2:3 because that'll make it a lot easier to find ratios. Reducing to factors makes it always a lot easier. Likewise, if in a DI set, if you have to add a lot of data, try looking at the options first and see whether there are options that are repeating. For example, if I have a DI set and the numerator totals up, like I'm adding, so the question is, what is the ratio of sum of X from 2014 to 2018 to the sum of Y from 2014 to 2018. Now, I look at the options and all of them are ratios. So I have 5 different options of ratios. Now I notice that the number 441 is there in numerators twice, right? And I notice that every else the numerator is different. Now I notice the denominator, everywhere the denominator is completely different. So if I do the numerator first, if I add up the numerator first in this particular question, what is going to happen? I'll get, let's say I get 441. I will still need to find out what the denominator is in order to get to the answer. But since all denominators are unique, if I just find the denominator, I should be able to get the answer much faster. But one thing you need to keep in mind here, if supposing the ratio of the numerator and denominator can cancel out, you will get a smaller number that is not the denominator because you'll get cancelled out, right? So the final ratio that is there will be different. But I think most of the times it is worth taking a risk and at least coming to an answer with this. If you spend 10 more seconds, you should be able to get the perfect answer. But since there's no calculator in CET, it's on your decision how much time and how much speed you're going to spend on it. Correct? That's the syllabus done, at least from what I remember. If there's anything, leave it in the comments, guys. Please leave some feedback in the comments so I know you guys are enjoying it. It's helpful to you because I personally do not know whether what I say is going to be helpful unless you guys tell me that it's useful. So leave likes, leave comments, tell me something, tell me it helped you out, leave anything. I don't care who you are or what it is, but if it helps you, just tell me. As I mentioned in the earlier live as well, I'll be the happiest if you guys work and get into JB and you come there and you tell me that I got into JB because we had seen your videos and we had helped you, whatever. Even if it's just listening to YouTube videos or just you've seen one video as well, you think it's useful, please leave a comment so that we know that it's useful. We are not monetizing our videos. Comments and likes do not matter to us otherwise, but please tell us so that we know that it's useful. Some pointers to keep in mind. I've discussed this with Ankit as well. He's also given a couple of pointers. This was his pointer. Do not wait until the last minute. We've learned this the hard way. We've taken mocks where we've left 1 minute for marking educated guesses or 2-3 minutes. The first time I did this, I had around 5 minutes left for the paper. I decided to solve something properly. 2 minutes were left. Then I started marking flukes. Then I didn't have time to do it properly. But this was a mock, so it didn't make a difference. And at that time, I was marking flukes and not educated guesses. And the reason I was marking flukes was because I didn't have time to make educated guesses. If you've gone through how much time it takes to think about this as well, you would realize that it takes time in the paper as well to think. So do not wait until the last minute. Do not wait until the last 5 minutes as well. I think as much time as you can give. For me, I used to attempt verbal and abstract as and when I saw it. If I saw it that, yeah, this is something I won't be able to solve, even if I give it 10 minutes more, mark it and go ahead. Mark it for review and go ahead. That's what I used to do. So I know that if I have time, I'll come back to it. But otherwise, just let it be. Just mark it and go ahead. You don't have time to do this in the final exam. So that's why the next point is very important. Practice in mocks from today. From the time you're seeing this video, practice taking mocks for CD 21. For CD 22, it's too far away. Do not mark answers right now. But for CD 21, start marking answers in mocks. You need to get used to leaving time for this because on the final day, you don't want to be the person who leaves a single question empty on the last day. Okay, you need to, when you leave the center, you need to see 200 questions attempted. Everything, you need to make sure you attempted 200 questions on the last day. Do not be the person who attempts even 199 questions or even lesser. Even 199 is a crime. Attempt that extra question. There is no negative marking. Attempt it and come. 20% probability is good if you have 10 seconds left. Anything is worth it rather than a 0% probability that you'll get if you do not attempt it. So remember that. Practice in mocks is the main thing that is there. And we've learned this the hard way because as I explained, we've had experiences where we've left it and did not work out. And the main thing that I want to mention over here is the passive mocks to make it better. But since there is only 1 week left, I've been explaining passive mocks each and every time we've had a meeting. But passive mocks for now has to be, you can take probably only one passive mock. Passive mock is something where you don't care about the score that you're going to give, that you get in the exam. You just take a mock to see how much you can score without paper, to see how much you can score without trying to write down everything that is there, without trying to, just looking it up, without trying to think too much about the question that is in front of you. Just look at the question, think about the things that I've said, eliminate options, use divisibility tests, try putting the options into the question, try solving it that way, which you can do in quants, logical, anywhere. Like you can just try putting options and seeing whether it makes sense or not. Anywhere that is there, this is a passive mock. Get used to it. There are a couple of people, a couple of TTP students who have been taking passive mocks constantly because they've been watching our videos. We've had sessions with them. We've told them to take passive mocks. So I know there are people who are taking passive mocks, and I hope and I know it has been useful to them. They have given me feedback saying it's useful. But since only 7 days are left, guys, I suggest take one passive mock. At least get used to it. Get used to the idea of it. If you have questions about passive mocks, please leave it in the comments. But please be a little bit more descriptive about what you want to ask. Because if I had to type out the question, type out an explanation, this is what I would explain. You do not care about the marks, just solve questions to solve questions without using paper. That's all I can say. These are the main pointers to keep in mind when it comes to how to increase your marks, how to make educated guesses. Coming back to this is the biggest question that's on your mind right now, how to increase your score, how to make educated guesses. Remember this, it is a very powerful thought experiment that is there. If you're able to utilize this to the maximum in the next few days now, look at the way you can increase your marks. It is a drastic improvement, even 15 marks extra, just by attempting better. Just by attempting the flukes better is a huge improvement in score. To sum it up, increase this, and then try to keep this increasing. That's all for now. I think it's already become a pretty long video. And thank you guys for watching. Please, I am saying this again, please leave comments so that we know you guys are enjoying this content. Please leave comments saying what you want, what you would like to see more in the future of. In the next 7 days, we are here to help you guys. We are here tirelessly working. We are going to help you guys here through this. It's a shock to us as well that it's come out so close. But since we cannot complain, just keep at it. And we are here to help you guys. Please drop in comments, likes, everything that is there. Here to help you guys. And yeah, all the best. See you guys in JB soon. Hope to see you soon. Genuinely, it'll be amazing if you guys make it. But yeah, all the best, guys, and take care.